Welcome to the Spotlight on Business here on the NCWLIFE channel. We're just a few blocks away from our studios, actually, here in Wenatchee at the Prestige at Colonial Vista. Now, Colonial Vista has been around a long time. We're going to talk about the past and we're going to talk about the present. We're going to talk with a longtime employee here at Colonial Vista, as well as their executive director, about moving into the future for seniors who are looking to remain active with the lifestyle here at Colonial Vista, for those who are looking for maybe a little help along the way, or for those that are looking for a little more care than what they used to need. It's all right here on the Spotlight on Business on the NCWLIFE channel. Erin Lindholm, the executive director at Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista in Wenatchee, gives us an overview of the campus and the services they offer.
So Colonial Vista was built back in 1968, was when the community started, our East Wenatchee building in the early 80s, and has grown ever since. So the great thing about our product here in Wenatchee is we really do have a continuum of care, from independent living to assisted living, long-term care, rehab, and so we're really able to take care of our residents right here on campus and in our East Wenatchee building. And we look at this as our residents' home, and we're honored to serve them in their home each and every day. And it is a community within a community, and so friendships are made or rekindled after years and years apart. Our job is really to help facilitate, support, and help maintain their independence and opportunity to really grow as people. We do a lot here that offers residents a chance to learn new things like how to make beer or learn a language like Spanish. A lot of that they're really driving and helping them grow as people. So.
Colonial Vista was founded by Carl Campbell, a Wenatchee local who once owned retirement and care facilities across 21 states. He sold Colonial Vista Retirement and Assisted Living to the family-run Prestige Care Incorporated in 2016 after more than 6 decades of business. Erin says Campbell has his own apartment on the campus and can still be found visiting with other residents and joining in on activities.
Carl was truly a pioneer in long-term care and assisted living, and still plays a vital role in our community, not only through the transition with Prestige Senior Living 3 years ago, but still today he lives on campus, and it's nice to see his smiling face on a daily basis as he walks around and visits with friends, and I think really has been happy to see what a great transition has happened since the purchase of these buildings several years ago. What's great about that transition is working for a company like Prestige Senior Living is that they're a family-owned and operated company as well, and it really was a partnership with Carl and the owners and leaders of Prestige who really wanted to pass the torch, so to speak, and continue to provide our residents here in the Wenatchee Valley and elsewhere with that support and that focus on resident-centered care. And it's been great to really be able to fall under the Prestige umbrella and really grow as a building and as a company here locally.
Erin says the experience on staff ranges anywhere from fresh to the industry to 40 years and more in skilled nursing, housekeeping, and beyond. We caught up with Daisy Baltz, the director of housekeeping, an employee of Prestige at Colonial Vista for 33 years.
Residents are my number one. If they're happy, then I'm happy. It's kind of like happy residents, happy life. It's what is in the heart of the people that are here that makes the place survive. And I think that every administrator here, or most every administrator here, has really went by that. We dedicate our work and what we do here, the hard work that we do, we dedicate that all toward the residents. If it wasn't for the residents, we wouldn't be here.
And, it doesn't matter what the decor looks like, how old the building is, the carpet color, etc. Our residents come first, and our staff are a major driver in that. Without our staff and our residents, this wouldn't be a community. And so, we try and live that every day in supporting our residents and supporting our families through difficult times and through celebrations.
What's changed in the industry? Erin says it's the activities and opportunities the residents look for in a senior living and assisted care facility. From beer-making classes to art, exercise, and volunteer opportunities, this facility has it all.
So much has changed in the industry, so much has changed here at Colonial Vista and our East Wenatchee community in the last 10 years. Moving forward light years from just, caring for somebody who's sort of at the end of their days to supporting people who want to give back to their community, who need transportation, to go to the Alzheimer's Walk or, to go to another local benefit and support a nonprofit organization or help them get to a part-time job or volunteer opportunity. Those are things that have changed a lot here in the last 10 years in this industry. And really what we saw today from, our exercise classes and wellness coach and doing things like having social outings and making beer and learning Spanish and, giving back to local nonprofits, we're really going to continue to empower our residents to keep giving back. This is our greatest generation. These are the people who made our world what it is today, and they still want to give and support. Some of them just need a little bit more help in doing that, and our job is to support them to be independent and to feel empowered and to support their community.
The campus of Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista has a little something for everyone. Erin describes the amenities available to provide independent and assisted living for its residents.
As you're coming up Okanagan, we have first building is Vista Main. We have independent and assisted living apartments. Second building is the main floor is our first building, built in '68, and that's long-term care, rehab, and then also 3 floors of independent apartments. And the final 2 buildings, Vista 2 and Vista 3, are all independent living apartments. Both ends of campus have, we duplicate everything here as you would on a large campus. So both of them have their own dining rooms, own activity spaces, places for activities, transportation services, but we're all collectively one, great community. So, we do have a sprawling campus with a lot of green space. We have our Vista Dome, which is an outdoor covered amphitheater that we do events in periodically throughout the year. We have Betty's Rose Garden, which is maintained by one of our residents and enjoyed by all of our residents. And then we have a lot of green spaces for our 4-legged friends, which we have many here, many dogs. Not a lot of cats that venture out, but a lot of spaces for them to take their dogs. And when the grandkids or great-grandkids are visiting as well, just some spaces for them to enjoy and play.
For anyone interested in Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista, the campus is open for anyone to schedule time to visit and discuss their needs.
Really, for any of our communities here locally, just give us a call or stop by anytime. We'd be happy to show you around. The big part is just developing a relationship. We want to meet your needs. What does that look like? Are you struggling at home now? Or are you just lonely and want to make friends? Are you just tired of vacuuming? And so we would love to chat with you and just find a little bit more about you and how we might be able to serve and support you.
Welcome to another Spotlight on Business. We're in downtown Ellensburg, Washington, here at Fitterer's Furniture to talk about how Fitterer's has been serving the needs of all of Washington, for a matter of fact, for over 120 years. And one thing that you're going to find out as we talk to Brad Fitterer over the next several minutes and his crew is that basically Fitterer's just fits.
I'm Cheryl Salta, and I am the business manager, and I've been here for approximately 29 years.
I'm Brad Fitterer, and I'm fortunate enough to be the owner of Fitterer's Furniture.
I'm Amanda McDougall, and I handle digital marketing at Fitterer's for about the last 3 years.
Brad gives us the backstory on how Fitterer's came to be.
Well, Fitterer's has a very interesting history. We've been in business since 1896. So obviously we've been around for a long time, and 123 years right here in Ellensburg, Washington. We've been in this location since 1906. There's some discrepancies. It took a while to build the building, and so some people will say 1906 and some people will say 1908. But we've been in the corner of 4th and Main since the early 1900s. My great-grandfather and my great-great-uncle started the business. They actually managed a hotel here in town called the Horton House. And for some reason, lost to history, they owned the furnishings, but they didn't own the building or the business. And they parted company with the ownership for reasons, again, lost to history, and came down to the corner of 3rd and Main, which is about a block away, and opened up all their used furniture in a tent. And that's how the furniture businesses started, which is somewhat different than a lot of furniture businesses on the West Coast, which actually started as funeral parlors.
Immigrating from Germany and finding their way through Minnesota and North Dakota, the family found their way to what would eventually become the city of Ellensburg. Brad admits the name is definitely unique.
It's a rather unusual name. It's pronounced Fitterers. You just kind of let it roll off your tongue. Well, it's spelled Fitterers, so I always figured at some point in time when they were immigrating from Germany, the fellow at the immigration office either stuttered or the fellow saying the name stuttered.
Originally from Gig Harbor and coming from a corporate background, Amanda says working at a local family-run company gives her a refreshing perspective on business and what community means.
That's one of the things that I like most about working here. I worked at a big corporation for a long time, 5 years or so after I graduated from college. This is different than that, and I think there's a lot of places you can work where, you know, you might have there's consistency in your day so much that it becomes boring. Like Cheryl said, there's always something going on here, and it's usually fun. And if it's not fun today, it probably will be tomorrow. So there's always something going on, and there's a lot of just being happy here. And I think that probably has a lot to do with the business being as old as it is, I suppose. And I think when you say old, it almost comes off negative, but it's been a staple in this community for years. And not being from this community originally, you can really see that also working here. You know, I see people come in and they'll say, "Oh, I remember hearing that on the radio," or "Yeah, I remember coming and sitting on Santa's lap when I was a kid." And that's so cool to me, because if I was from here and doing that, I think it would be special. So it's nice to be a part of longevity, like, you know, we've talked about in a business. And
Many times throughout these spotlights, we've asked businesses how they tackle the challenges that come with the age of online shopping. For Fitterers, Brad says while they've upped their strategies for digital marketing with the help from Amanda, scoping out furniture is shopping that should be done in person.
But with the furniture business, it's still a touch, feel, smell, sit business. We sell bed in the box, where you can buy them online. We can drop ship them to your home, but it's not the same sort of quality. It's not the same sort of correct mattress than when you come in and talk to one of our sales staff and they find out what sort of problems you're having sleeping, or if you're having hip problems, back problems, shoulder problems, or if you're not sleeping, where they can really direct you to a particular type of mattress. That's just one of the things that you can't always get online. You can't get the in-depth knowledge because it's not always a two-way street talking to your computer. So there are advantages. There are advantages to touching and feeling the fabric, sitting on it, and also just experiencing all the different colors. And one thing that Fitterers offers is a goof-proof warranty that we will make sure you're happy with your furniture. Or we will bring it back.
Inside the massive complex that is Fitterers, you'll find 21,600 square feet of furniture. But more than that, you'll find a staff who feels like family with a track record of longevity.
My family moved here from the Midwest, from the Chicago area, and when I moved into this town, I wasn't sure. It was a small town. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my little girls, and I started here, and you know, Brett has allowed me to, like I say, flex with the position, move up in the company. I've always wanted to stay in one place for a long, long time, and so I've got that here, and I really don't have any need to look anywhere else. So I think going home at the end of the day and feeling good about everything that we've talked about here and knowing that I'm a part of that and getting a good night's sleep, that's priceless.
From hosting community events to continuing old-fashioned traditions like checking out customers on this old cash register, Brad says what's most important to him is making a difference with his employees. Fitterers welcomes employees with special needs, something Brad says makes him proudest at the end of the day.
I may get a little emotional. I mentioned that we were an inclusive employer. We have had a couple people work for us, Lydia, now Sarah, and there's been one other that we were able to provide jobs for that gave them value. They gave us more. That's what I'm most proud of. It's the people.
I'm Eric Grandstrom, and this is the NCWLIFE channel Spotlight on Business. And today, as you can tell, we're doing something a little different. Today, we're going to learn more about Ohana here in Wenatchee. It means family, and it's making a huge difference for families in North Central Washington. It's coming up next on the NCWLIFE channel. Inspired by Hawaiian culture and its values of respect and kindness, owner Mary Kotska began her practice 10 years ago, setting out to make a difference in the quality of care she could provide for local families. Occupational therapy is helping children with a variety of developmental challenges.
These kids just look like regular kids. They don't look like anything's going on with them. And with sensory processing problems, that's part of the problem is they just look like a regular kid that's acting out, but their nervous systems are completely different. Everything we do is based on all different types of neurological research, but specifically the sensory integration was developed in the 50s by Gene Ayers. So it's been around for quite a long time. The need for it has become much bigger because of the rise in autism, which is now 1 in 59. If you have autism, part of the diagnostic criteria is you have sensory processing problems. The need for it and the effectiveness of it is a lot more recognized because there's just so many more kids with sensory processing problems. And 1 in 20 have it just regardless without having attention deficit or autism. Watching a child who is basically internally distracted by their body in a session, watch that switch flip, that all of a sudden they're just like calm and focused and okay, now we can like pick out some challenging activity for them to do and then they can do it for the first time. It's just such an amazing thing to watch.
The staff at Ohana use a wide variety of activities to work with children mentally and physically. Ohana sees a full age range of children from babies to high school and sometimes even adults.
So here at Ohana, we have a really specialized facility to help kids mature their nervous systems and get their bodies stronger so they can focus and learn and behave well. And this is a really interesting piece of equipment. We just call it the helicopter because it can kind of fly in different ways. But what's really cool about it is it works on lots of things at one time, and the kids really love it. So once he's in it and he's set up, he'll be pulling on these ropes and he'll be flying. So it really engages his core. And we do a lot of things. You see everything's suspended, and that's so that we can really work on the sensation of movement and balance and all of that. Everything that we do is super fun, right, Logan?
Right.
They usually don't want to leave. So our job is to make hard work super fun. So the kids that we're seeing are kids that are having problems behaving well, learning, paying attention. We see lots and lots of kids that have attention deficit, lots of kids that have autism. A lot of kids are very oversensitive to certain things, so they'll be oversensitive to light and sound and touch. Simple things like getting your nails trimmed or your hair cut or getting socks on in the morning. Just getting out the door can be a nightmare for most of our parents, and most of them aren't even able to take them out to public places, like a restaurant would just be too overwhelming. So it's really common to have both, like certain body senses, the sensations are too low so that it makes them want to move a lot so they can feel their body, and then certain sensations are too sensitive. So a really classic example is this Spandex Swing, which is really swimsuit material, dancewear, swimwear. So it provides sensory input to the body at lots of different levels. So it gives input to the muscles and joints because they're able to push against it and get resistance. It gives deep pressure to the skin, so it's very, kind of maps out their body that way, and then you can move in every direction. So this is actually one of the favorite things that the kids like to do because it just makes them feel really good. In fact, we call it our magic talking spandex because a lot of the kids that have autism, well, all of a sudden they won't be distracted by their body anymore because all of a sudden they can feel their body and they'll just stop and look at you and start talking to you. It's really cool.
Essie is a child who lives with a feeding tube and comes to Ohana to work on tolerating various food textures and working to develop her ability to safely chew and swallow.
And so everything we do here at Ohana has to be fun, so we have friends visiting us here for our snack time. We might do like a session where we're working on trimming nails or brushing hair or just anything they're struggling with. So occupational therapies always very functionally based on helping kids become more independent with their functional skills.
Mary explains the importance of recognizing the difference between a tantrum and a meltdown.
We're creating challenges that they can be successful at that are a little bit hard for them. Fun is a little bit hard, but I can do it, right? And so that space, that place is really small for most of the kids that we see. So that's the art of what we do, is kind of setting up challenges that they can do successfully and grow and learn, but not fall apart. And so when they fall apart in public, it looks like, for parents, they get the evil eye. They look like a terrible parent because the kid looks like they're just having a big tantrum. But tantrums and meltdowns look the same. It could be screaming or kicking or throwing things or anything like that. But the difference is what's causing it. So a tantrum is caused by, I want this thing, so I'm going to act out until I get it. Where a meltdown, a sensory meltdown, which our kids have, it's a reaction to something. So feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated, or they just don't have that frustration tolerance or that sort of thing. And so, and it's a neurological reaction. So it could go on for like an hour, and they could have like no audience, and they just cannot pull it together. That adrenaline gets going, and then they just can't shut it off. Where if a kid's having a tantrum and they get what they want, they can just shut off like that. So the behavior can look the same, but it can be a totally different thing going on.
Ohana Occupational Therapy is a combination of art and science, meeting individual needs on a day-to-day basis. Mary says she's inspired by the changes she sees in the lives of the families she serves.
For me, the whole reason that I even got into this was I was a school therapist for 17 years, and I knew that I could do so much more for the families and the kids than I could do in the school setting, because I just needed the right environment, the right tools, the parents there, and more time. The thing that makes me so happy to wake up every day and come to work is that we come and we just change lives. So the kid that's, you know, in trouble all the time in kindergarten, bouncing off the walls, you know, starting to get that like I'm the bad kid vibe, gets completely transformed to the kid that's successful and paying attention. And to me, I just see, I just feel like it's this, I'm just thinking like a train, you know, like the switching, like they're on this track and we just switch them over to this track. And it just makes me so happy. That's what it's all about. By being an owner therapist, and the whole reason that I'm doing this is that I get to provide the highest quality therapy that I have in my entire career, because I get to control the quality. And health professionals today don't get to do that. They don't get to control their environment, their tools, the techniques that they're using. And by being the CEO, being the owner, I get to control the quality. And that just means the world to me.